call, please. Council members Singleton,
Here.
Payne, here. Campion,
Here.
Cruz,
Here.
Powers,
Here. Do we have anything to discuss about the closed session? Do we have anything
Yes.
back?
Yes, Mayor. If I could report that the successor agency to the redevelopment agency was in closed session this evening, conference with legal counsel on anticipated litigation, and there's no action to report out of that closed session.
Okay, and then we'll take a moment of silent prayer, and then the flag is raised by TAC 84, Cub Scout, Hebrews 1, Gen 9. Okay, and now we'll raise the flag.
Audience, please rise. Color guard, advance. Post colors. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Two.
Good job, guys. Thank you very much. Okay, Liz, could you please read the video statement?
Yes, this meeting of the Galt City Council is being videotaped in its entirety and will be cablecast without interruption on Metro Cable 14, the Government Affairs channel, on the Comcast and SureWest cable systems. Tonight's meeting can be seen on Channel 14 and will also be webcast at www.saxmetrocable.tv this Friday and Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. Tonight's meeting can also be seen via live video streaming on the city's website at www.ci.galt.ca.us. A DVD copy is also available for checkout from any library branch. Members of the audience wishing to address council should fill out a speaker identification form and give it to the clerk. Please speak into the microphone when addressing council and state your name for the record.
Thank you. Are there any agenda approvals, additions, or deletions?
I'd like to E4.
E4.
I do have a request, or I have a request of council to move up the committee appointments to the beginning of the agenda, maybe right after consent calendar. I know we have a lot of visitors for that item.
Okay, and that's it for deletions, additions. Everybody okay with that? Okay, and we'll have a presentation. The subject is the Committee for Character in Sports.
I'll start. Okay. Good evening. Good to be here, and thank you for allowing us to be on the agenda. I'm Sue Roberts, and this is Jack Jenkins. And Jack is a graduate of Galt High, class of 1959, I believe. Jack and I graduated from high school at the same time, but I didn't graduate from Galt High. I was someplace else, but anyway, we are sort of the same age. And when I was teaching at Galt High, Jack was the ROP coordinator, and I was running the ROP business program at the time, and so we worked together quite a bit. So we ran into each other probably 2 or 3 years ago, and I've been involved with the Community of Character Coalition. And Jack said, you know, we need to do something, you know, to, you know, get this going a little bit more. We need to do a project together. And we kind of, you know, would see each other here and there and so on. So finally, about a year ago, I guess, Jack said, you know, we really do need to get down and do something. So what we've done is started a movement here to, or a committee, I guess you might call us, to sponsor a sports camp this coming June. We have an active committee that has a variety of people involved. Barbara Payne's one of them, T.J. Godotti, and then there's quite a few other people, among them some representatives from the Character Coalition and also some from the community itself. So Jack is going to tell you a little bit about what we're going to do, what our plans are. So I'll turn this over to Jack.
Thank you, Sue. Again, Jack Jenkins, that's my name, and Mayor and council members and guests. Thank you for having us on the agenda this evening. It's been my desire to kind of give something back to the community, and this is really a passion of mine, and it started, as Sue said, just a thought. I might say that I have 2 sons that went through some USC and on into professional baseball. So I've seen a lot of things with sports and character that kind of need blending. It was a pleasure to watch the Boy Scouts talk about character. I think that's phenomenal. But we're using sports as a vehicle to attract young athletes, parents, and coaches to be together to really look at character. We're using sports as that vehicle again, and we're going to offer this, and our first blush is a summer camp using Galt High School facilities. We have all the school districts now that are agreed to be part of this, so we're reaching out to not only the Galt Elementary District, but to the high school district. We've met all the superintendents in Oakview, Arcohe, and Thornton. And so we'll be really addressing the whole Galt community. So this is a real area-wide approach. It's a model program. I'm working with the Proactive, Positive Coaching Alliance, which is a nonprofit nationwide group that works really with the schools separately on a one-on-one basis. When we're doing this, I want to really offer this to our people in the community. And it's a grassroots approach. We're raising funds on our own, and we wanted to really let you know that you'll be hearing about us, probably seeing things in the paper, and now you know the real story, and you're one of the first groups to know. We're hoping to use some of the facilities in Galt for fundraising, with the Littleton Center and so on, and we really like to have the city's help with that if we can, to either cut the cost of rent on that or to waive it if possible. I don't know what the policies and procedures are, but it's my appeal to try and do that. And so it will be a camp. Just briefly, I promised Sue I wouldn't talk too much. As a former teacher, I guess that's part of our windy city here. But the camp itself will be having Ruthie Bolton, who was a WNBA star Olympic champion, as a guest speaker, and then we'll break up into all sports: basketball, softball, baseball, of course basketball, and all the different sports. And we'll strand that character through all the different sports and have some hands-on coaching at the same time. So kids will not just sit there and get bored. They're going to go out there and experience what it's like to be coached by positive role models. That's the whole key. We want people that are positive role models. And one of the members on our committee is T.J. Godotti, who is really excited about this as well, because it fits right into what he's trying to do, and the police officers and so on, and the whole community. So that's our effort. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. And I'm pretty excited about this. And it's kind of a risky thing to go out there and do this, but I think our kids, our parents, and our coaches and the whole thing, it's worth it. So the whole strand will be taking a 9 and 10-year-old athlete, male and female, and then as they go through, either with the youth sports in the community, the school sports, the intramurals, on to junior high and high school, they'll be getting the same message from the same people. So that parents are really also be having a workshop that same day, and we're going to work with them because you know the enforcement and the support from parents are really important in the positive, not winning at all costs. I think the wrong messages are being sent out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me
Any questions?
make a couple of comments. The first is that we do have a policy now that allows nonprofits in the community to rent our facilities, Littleton or Chabot, at no cost, up to, I believe, twice a year. So you'd be able to use those facilities. There is a requirement for insurance. We have if you don't have your own insurance, we have a company that provides it for different events. I think it's about $125. The recommendation under this presentation is that the city approve a co-sponsorship with the Committee for Character and Sports, bringing athletics for instruction to youth, as well as character workshops that allow the group to use our logo in their publications and really to form a partnership going forward with this summer camp that they have.
Do we need a motion for that, or?
I'd like to add something before we get into that. I would just like to add that from the very beginning, the city has been somewhat involved. They've attended the meetings, our city manager, myself, the Parks and Recs Department, as well as T.J. Gadati. So from the very idea that started this, we've all sort of given our input and our support to it. So I thought it's important that you knew that from the very beginning, we've been sort of a part. When I say we, I mean the city in various ways.
Do we need a motion? I'm sorry.
I just had a couple questions. How often would this occur? Is this a one-time event, or is this an annual event ongoing? I guess I'm not clear on that.
Right now, Kurt, it would be June 15th. It would be a one-time. We don't know what's going to happen after this, but our intent is to provide for the high school district a 3-year commitment with the Positive Coaching Alliance. So those coaches would then have the benefit of their resources and their assistance for the next 2 years to follow up. And hopefully we would have it again, because I think, you can't really create a culture by doing it once, but this is a beginning, I think, to do that. So
it sounded like it would take a great effort to really instill what the objective is, which is the character, in order to maintain it and build on it.
It's to build character, to try to infuse that into the culture.
Very good.
Mark? Right?
I'm good.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
I so move.
About a second?
Both ends. I'll second.
Okay. Call for the vote, please.
Vice Mayor Singleton?
Aye.
Councilmember Payne?
Aye.
Councilmember Campion?
Aye.
Councilmember Cruz?
All right.
Mayor Powers?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank
You'll be hearing about us and from us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much. Thank you.
Okay, now we're going to go to, where am I? The presentation to the Galt Joint Union Elementary School District for receiving the Race to the Top grant. Okay, I have something I want to read. Do we call Karen up first, or should I read it first?
Whatever you prefer.
What do you want to do, Karen? You want to come up while I read it, or you want to wait? Come on over here. We're very proud of you, Karen, and all of your staff. This is a certificate of recognition. We hereby present the Galt Joint Union Elementary School District with this certificate of recognition in honor of the district's extraordinary achievement. The district's hard work and commitment to Race to the Top grant was an award-winning proposal, and with $10 million in grant funding, it will be a bright future for Galt students. Congratulations on being one of 16 applicants selected from 372 across our nation. Awarded on this 18th day of December on behalf of the Galt City Council.
Thank you so much. Oh, thank you for this recognition for our school system, and I want to say that this really is a team effort between our district, the city of Galt, the community, and the high school district. We really, really worked together on this proposal, and quite honestly, after it was written, I knew in my heart it just had to go. It was just a match. The grant was really written for our school system in this community because we have the commitment and the capacity. $10 million. It is a bright future in our school system and community, but it's even brighter now. So I want to thank, there are a number of you here that helped with that proposal. There are people in the audience that helped make this come true. So thank you very much.
Great job, Jen.
Thank you.
I just wanted to add that our elementary school district came in third across the nation. Our little old Galt school district did that well. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
That's great. I didn't know that. Okay, public comment.
Okay. Under Government Code Section 54954.3, members of the public may address the council on non-agenda items. Speakers may address council on any agenda item during consideration of the item. Speakers shall restrict their comments to issues that are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council and limit comments to a maximum of 3 minutes. Please fill out a speaker sheet located on the table inside the entrances to the council chambers and forward the completed speaker sheet to the clerk. Al Baldwin?
Good evening, Al Baldwin, a concerned citizen of Galt. When I see good things happening, I have to say something, and I saw something tonight that was extremely good in my opinion, and that was you were all behind this character sports program. It is great. It'll not only train the children that it's going through it, but it'll also train the coaches in tennis and soccer and baseball and football. There's all kinds of things that I've gone to one meeting, and I'm looking forward maybe to getting involved in some other meetings. But I'll tell you, this is so needed, especially at this time and in the future. A character is going to be #1 in all sports, no matter what. And I applaud you for at least getting behind them, and I appreciate that. Thank you so very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Al.
Yeah.
Okay, Barbara, on the information and consent calendar, would you like to discuss E4?
Sure. According to the packet, it says the contractor installed the equipment correctly according to specs, but it appears there was a flaw in the design which caused the problem. We will be going after the firm. But my question is, what will our action be if we followed the specs correctly and now we're going to have to spend more money? Why should we?
Steve, do you want to address that question?
I'll endeavor to. It's premature to announce what the final decision would be. As we've indicated in our staff report, we'll be undertaking an accountability review which would look at whether the city had any actions involved in making the decisions. We'll be looking at the original design, which now appears to be suspect. Initially, we were looking at the contract because there were some problems with the construction, and now on further inspection, those deficiencies were corrected, and it still doesn't work. So now we'll be looking to see if there are some errors and omissions type credits to be achieved from our design firm, who is also our construction management firm, that we've hired consultants to be the experts, and
we'd expect that the product will work as advertised and as bid. So that is still before us, but we would hope that we'd be able to offset a large part of our delay costs and some of the initial or extra installation costs that will be incurred. Typically, when you get into these difficult situations, something to bear in mind is that if it was an oversight and had we got it right the first time, we would have still had to pay for that. We'll probably still be in it for that pound of flesh. But if it's found that there were extra costs involved with the late corrective actions, that would be subject to pursuit on our part as far as recovery.
So we may recover some costs.
That's the hope.
With that, I would move the item.
I just have one other comment. After you finish your review, will you be then reporting back to council?
We certainly can if that's your desire. We do not formally bring contract acceptance back here with the City of Galt, so we can certainly do it either through a correspondence or if you'd like a formal report, we can
It was
do that.
just on the accountability review, I believe.
And we'll communicate that
Correspondence,
with the
yeah,
council.
correspondence will be fine. Thank you.
Did you have a second? Second. Okay, you want to read that? Or you want me to read the recommendation?
The recommendation tonight is to adopt a resolution to appropriate an additional $20,000 for the Golden Heights Water Treatment Plant Expansion Project, Phase 3, from the Fund 005 fund balance, and to authorize the city manager to execute needed contract change orders within the appropriated contingency balance for the project. And we have a motion and a second. Vice Mayor Singleton?
Aye.
Councilmember Payne?
Aye.
Councilmember Campion?
Aye.
Councilmember Cruz?
Aye.
Mayor Powers?
Aye. And then we have 3 more on the consent calendar. Would you please read them for us, Liz?
Item number 1, approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of December 4th, 2012. Number 2, approval of the City of Galt warrants. And number 3, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a communications site license agreement with T-Mobile West.
Anybody want to make a motion on the remaining 3, please?
Motion approved.
Second?
Second.
Call for the vote, please.
Vice Mayor Singleton?
Aye.
Councilmember Payne?
Aye.
Councilmember Campion?
Aye.
Councilmember Cruz?
Aye.
Mayor Powers?
Aye. Okay, now we're going to go up to do the committee appointments. So Liz, could you walk us through that, please?
Okay, before you tonight are quite a few of council's committees and commissions that now have some vacancies, and I recommend that we go one by one each committee. So if council is agreeable to that, I'll move ahead.
Sure. Okay.
Let's start with the Planning Commission. There are 2 vacancies on the Planning Commission to be filled by council members Powers and Campion.
No.
You have
Powers.
Payne and Campion, I'm sorry.
I'll do it if you'd like to. You want me to do it, Barb?
No. Payne and Campion, I'm sorry. You have 8 letters of interest for the Planning Commission. You'd like Mike Hodge, David Stifler, Paul Sandu, Benjamin Gamez, Leanne McFadden, Kelly Kiki, Kenneth Erickson, and Jean Davenport. So at this time, I would look for council members Payne and Campion to make their appointments.
Before I make the appointment, I want to say that Leanne McFadden has been my appointment for the past 8 years, and she's done a great job. But in my opinion, I felt like it was time to probably share that responsibility with someone else in the community. But I did want to recognize her hard work and let her know that I appreciate what she's done for us in the past, especially since I had appointed her. It was really difficult. I have to say I was awake last night because we had so many really good applicants. Most of them I tried to talk to personally, some I was not able to. Again, it was really hard, but the person that I did select is Paul Sandu. And the reason I did his application was very good. His letter gave details about what he was believing that he would be addressing with his goals. He's been a longtime resident of Galt. He has family here. He has grandchildren and children in our school. So I think he'll be concerned about that when he makes his decisions for the Planning Commission. He is a local businessman, and that was so important to me, that he is a local businessman that actually has gone through the process of getting approval on permits and things. And he's been on the other side of the table, so I think he will be important in when he makes his decisions, because he knows what it's like. He has leadership qualities, as well as the fact that he is fair and has integrity, in my opinion. So Paul Sand, who owns the Western Motel, Best Western Motel, is my nomination for my appointment for Planning Commission.
Thank you, and with you, Councilmember Campion.
Thank you. There are a lot of good candidates, and it was difficult. However, the individual I chose is somebody who I've known for a number of years, and I think would bring a unique set of skills to the Planning Commission, and that would be Ken Erickson. He was a police officer here in the city for a number of years, and I think that for purposes of site plan review and project review, I think he would bring a unique set of skills. So.
Okay, next committee.
Next, we'll move on to the Parks and Recreation Commission. There are currently 2 vacancies to be filled by council members Payne and Campion.
Kurt, you want to go first this time?
Sure. And I should point out, Ken would have been here tonight, except that he's out of town. And I have to look for. There are, again, a lot of good candidates for the Park and Rec Commission. The individual I have selected, however, is Janice Ruthigner, and hopefully I didn't. I'm used to calling her Janice Volano.
Right.
You got remarried, and but anyway, Janice has been involved in youth sports and actually had served at one time as a rec commissioner. So, Janice.
And my appointment is Don Buchanan. He was my appointment previously, and I think he's done a good job. And I think he represents actually the kids out there on the field and the coaches, and uses our facilities. And I rely on him to give us feedback on how we can improve either our program or our facilities.
Okay, next we have the Beautification Committee. There are 2 vacancies to be filled by council members Payne and Campion. We also have an alternate position. At this time, we just have 1 letter of interest. I do anticipate bringing this back at the next meeting, the second meeting in January, with another letter of interest. So.
I would nominate Karen Stifler. It's the only applicant tonight.
And I have nobody.
But we'll have somebody next time.
Okay.
We'll move on to Commission on Aging. There are actually 3 vacancies on that committee, as well as an alternate position. We do have 2 letters of interest. The vacancies are for council members Payne and Campion, as well as a vacancy that we had currently for Mayor Powers.
Well, so I go first.
Sure.
I will would nominate Christy Wallen. She's an existing member, and
Okay.
recommend that she
And the president.
continue. And the current president, excuse me.
And my nomination is Aggie Hanichi. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. And she's been on the Aging Commission, I think, from its inception. And she's done a great job. I know she will continue to.
And I got nobody, Barbara. So I'll wait till next week too. We'll hope we'll go out there and get some people interested.
Okay, for the Public Safety Committee, there are 2 vacancies to be filled by council members Payne and Campion.
Did you want to go first? I keep going first on you.
Go ahead, Barbara.
I'm going to appoint again for the second time Ralph Doak, D-O-A-K the third.
My appointment is the individual who started it is Randy Shelton, former council member. And Randy said he would be here tonight, except that it was his mother's birthday, and that was more important, so.
Yeah, got his priorities, yes.
Next, we have the Galt Youth Committee. There are 2 vacancies on that committee. We do have 1 letter of interest, and those vacancies are for Council Members Payne and Council Member Campion.
Well, I had, are on my list to appoint Eric McCarty, and he's been involved for the past several months, and he wants to continue, and I'm happy for him to do it.
Again, we will
And I
re-advertise
don't
this.
have one, so,
Now, we're
We'll
even.
re-advertise and
okay,
hopefully bring it back
okay.
the second meeting in January. Next, we have the Historic Preservation Advisory Committee. There are 2 positions open. These appointments are made by the entire City Council, and they serve a 3-year term, so it's a little bit different. And you have 2 letters of interest in front of you. Ida Denier and Julie Clark. Ida Denier and Julie Clark. Ida currently sits on the committee, and Julie Clark is a letter we got in just a little bit ago, and since I was sitting on the dais in front of you.
Also, didn't Leanne ask to continue on that one in her letter? Leanne McFadden?
Yes, she did, and it's not on my list. Yes, she did.
Okay.
So, in her other letter.
So how do we do this?
So you have 3 letters.
How many vacancies do you have?
And you have 2 positions open, and the appointment's made by the entire council. So you have 3 letters of interest, 2 positions open.
Okay, Julie.
And it's as a body.
Mayor, I'd like to nominate Leanne McFadden.
Anyone second?
Second.
Okay.
I'd also like to continue with Ida Denier on it.
Do we do one at a time, Liz, or?
You can take all the nominations, but then vote in the order that the nominations are received, so
Okay.
first one would be to vote on Leanne.
Okay, do I have a second vote? Nomination? Okay.
Ida
Okay.
Denier.
I did Denier. Do I have a second?
Second.
Do I have any others? Okay, so we'll vote on the first one, correct? We'll vote on
First
Leanne.
one's Leanne.
Okay, call for the vote, please.
Vice Mayor Singleton.
Aye.
Councilmember Payne.
Aye.
Councilmember Campion.
Aye.
Councilmember Cruz.
Aye.
Mayor Powers.
Aye.
Okay.
And can we call for the vote on
Ida
Ida
Denier.
Denier, please?
Vice Mayor Singleton.
Aye.
Councilmember Payne.
Aye.
Councilmember Campion.
Aye.
Councilmember Cruz.
Aye.
Mayor Powers.
Aye.
Then we move to the Sacramento Yolo Mosquito and Vector Control District. This position is made by the entire council. You have 1 letter of interest from Fred Gaethel. He has served in that capacity for the last 4 years.
Do I have a nomination for Fred?
I nominate
Okay,
Fred.
a second?
Second.
Call for the vote, please.
Vice Mayor Singleton.
Aye.
Councilmember Payne.
Aye.
Councilmember Campion.
Aye.
Councilmember Cruz.
Aye.
Mayor Powers.
Aye.
Okay. Then we go to the appointment of city council members. The first one is our Public Safety Committee. Vice Mayor Singleton currently holds a seat with a vacancy for the 2nd position.
I would very much like that position if it's okay with council.
I'm fine with it.
I'm fine with it.
Me too. You need a nomination?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
I nominate Councilman Cruz.
I'll second.
Call for the vote, please, Liz.
Vice Mayor Singleton.
Aye.
Councilmember Payne.
Aye.
Councilmember Campion.
Aye.
Councilmember Cruz.
Aye.
Mayor Powers.
Aye.
And last but not least is our City and Schools Together. Councilmember Payne holds a full position. Councilmember Cruz is currently the alternate. So currently there is 1 full position open.
I'd like to join that, Commissioner, if you don't mind.
I would like to have, I would also like to be considered for that as well.
So we need nominations, I think. You can nominate yourself with a second.
Huh?
Huh?
You can
Yeah, I
nominate
mean,
himself.
there's not a, on nominations, there's actually not a requirement for a second. You can nominate yourself, so
So we have 2 nominations.
my recommendation would be that you have 2
Mike?
nominations and you should vote on them in the order received.
So moved.
Kurt Campion. So right now I have Mike Singleton and Kurt Campion that would like position.
You don't need seconds,
We
correct?
call for the, we don't need seconds.
Okay.
Anyone else?
I'm sorry, I missed something.
We're gonna be voting on two people.
Okay.
I just asked if there was anyone else that would like to throw their name in there.
Okay, now what do we do here? Who was the first person to,
First person was Mike Singleton.
okay, call for the vote on Mike Singleton?
You want a show of hands or?
Vice Mayor Singleton.
Aye.
Councilmember Payne.
Aye.
Yes. Councilmember Campion.
No.
Councilmember Cruz.
I with a caveat. If you would like, and I know we'll have to bring it up at a separate meeting, I can step down as the alternate and let you have it if you'd like for it.
Certainly.
Okay.
Mayor.
That was great. Aye. Good. Okay. That was a good one. I'm sorry? Oh, okay. Councilmember Cruz is going to step down as the alternate, and Councilmember Campion will be the alternate on CAS. I'm sorry.
And we'll do a vote for that.
Like, call for the vote?
Vice Mayor Singleton.
Aye.
Councilmember Payne. Aye. Councilmember Campion.
What did we vote on?
We're voting on you being the alternate.
Can you do
We have to bring it up to the next agenda, that's why I said that.
Okay, we'll bring it back.
I have to bring it back.
We'll bring that up at the next meeting.
To be continued.
To be continued.
But Mark's stepping down at this meeting.
Okay.
Okay. That's all I have.
Thank you, Steve.
End on that note.
Okay, so have we got everyone that needs to be on
Yes.
anything?
With a few coming back.
With a few coming back. Okay, so now we're on F1. Would you like to read it, please, Liz?
Okay, scheduled matters, public hearing on use of citizens' options for public safety supplemental law enforcement services funding funds, COPS funding.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Before you tonight is a public hearing regarding the COPS SLUF funding. In 1996, Assembly Bill 3229 was passed, which imposed a statewide sales and use tax to be allocated for public safety services. The controller was to allocate $100,000 for the Citizens Option or Public Safety COPS program, and those allocated monies were to be deposited in a Supplemental Law Enforcement Services Fund, SLEF, to be expended exclusively for law enforcement services. Government Code 30061 requires that prior to any transfer of these funds, the Supplemental Law Enforcement Oversight Committee certifies receipt of approved expenditure plan from the governing body of the agency, which would be the Galt City Council. Staff is recommending that the following expenditure plan for this year's COPS SLEF funding be used for the outlined in the current 2012-2013 adopted budget. $50,000 would be for the REMS computer-aided dispatch records management system. $50,000 would be for the purchase of a patrol car, and the $13,300 purchase to update taser equipment, digital recording devices for field personnel, and a computer module. The current budget year includes this $100,000 of the COPS SLEF fund, and the additional $13,300 appropriation is from the existing COPS SLEF fund balance from the prior year's funding. Staff recommends that you open a public hearing regarding the proposed use of the COPS supplemental law enforcement funds, take public testimony regarding the proposed issue and their use, close the hearing, adopt a resolution, and approve the budget change to appropriate $13,300 from existing COPS fund balance. That's the end of my report, and I'm available for any questions regarding this issue.
I'll do the public hearing first. Open for public hearing. Is there anyone that would like to speak on this issue? Okay, so I'm going to close the public hearing. Council?
Yes, question. Chief, since the Crown Vics aren't available anymore, do we have an idea of what kind of vehicle we're going to be going to?
This vehicle we're planning on doing is a vehicle for the supervisors on duty, which will be a command vehicle, which will contain certain equipment in the back of it, which will include mapping and whatever. That's why it's at a price of about $50,000.
Okay, and this is,
This will probably be either the Ford Explorer or Chevy Tahoe, depending on the size regarding the equipment we have to put in it. Some of this equipment could have been used about 3 weeks ago when we were in fact involved in a serious situation regarding the death of an individual of animal control.
is this 50,000 is before the lights and the, all the decals are put on?
This should cover the entire cost.
Cover the whole thing. Okay, thank you.
Jason?
I was just gonna make note, it's on here as the rims system, $50,000, even though we've already purchased and expended those funds. This isn't an additional $50,000. This was needed in order for us to do the acquisition. We got authorization, kind of pre-approval from the Department of Justice. We could pre-allocate the funding for that that purchase.
Okay, Liz, could you please read the recommended action?
Okay, open the public hearing regarding the proposed use of the COPS funding, take public testimony regarding the proposed use, close the public hearing, adopt a resolution, approve the budget change to appropriate $13,300 from existing COPS fund balance.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
Motion to accept.
Second.
Call for the vote, please.
Vice Mayor Singleton?
Aye.
Councilmember Payne?
Aye.
Councilmember Campion?
Aye.
Councilmember Cruz?
Aye.
Mayor Powers?
Aye. Now we're on to the strategic plan. Give me just a second, please. Okay, we'll start off with enhanced economic development. Are we? Okay, and that is by September 1st, 2012, the Community Development Director will finish the historic review of the entertainment complex. Jason?
Just an update on that. The historic review actually was completed at the prior council meeting, but the CEQA document, the environmental document, is actually officially released for public review and comment, I believe, today. That's just an update on that project.
Great, good job. Now we're in the approved financial stability and maintenance of reserves, and we're on number 7 there. By March 31st, 2013, contingent upon timely receipt of plans from Walmart, the Community Development Director, working with a Senior Building Inspector and PW Director, will issue the city permits for the Walmart project.
Unfortunately, we didn't get timely submittal of plans from Walmart to allow us to issue the permits by the end of this month, but we did get their submittal, at least for the public improvements, landscaping plans, and so we just received those last week. So staff is reviewing those, they're out for comment, and so we're diligently reviewing those and look forward to working with Walmart to get all their plans reviewed, and hopefully in the spring we'll be able to issue their permits.
Thank you. Okay, provide services and facilities that are responsive to community needs. And on that we have number 2, by January 15th, 2013, the police chief, who is the lead with Councilmember Singleton and the Special Projects Administrator, will recommend to the Public Safety Committee and to the City Council for action city programs for at-risk youth.
Chief, would you like to provide the council with kind of an update on what you and Councilmember Singleton or Vice Mayor Singleton have been doing on this front?
We've had a series of meetings, all within the city and also outside, talking with the Galt PAL program, or the Elk Grove program. We're researching possibility of funding sources for creating something of a police athletic league to involve our Parks and Recreation Department, the Police Department, and in listening to this character on sports, it might be another avenue that we will be discussing with them. So we're on target, we believe. We have another meeting that we have set up for the end of this week, and we think we'll probably make the date as far as January 15 with some kind of recommendation on program as far as to assist at-risk youth.
Okay.
Yeah, as everybody knows, everybody's grabbing for money, so we're just trying to set the foundation and try to get that out of the way, and hopefully in the future it will be self-sufficient enough where we can have programs for all of our youth to join the PAL League.
Good. Barbara?
I just want to say, is it any wonder that Galt got the Race to the Top grant when you look at how involved the city is in the youth? It makes me proud.
It does. Is that it? Okay, great. Moving right along.
And just a reminder to the public that the entire list is on the website, so if you want to go and look at any of the items we have on our strategic plan, they're available for public review.
Thank you, Jason.
Okay, now we're on to discretionary funds. Campion?
Didn't know it was going to be in the form of a staff report. I talked to Liz. I do most of my work out of the office, not here at City Hall, and I put in a request for funds for a copier, so that I could use that in my home office where I spend most of my time. That's the request.
And, you know, I didn't, kind of as a follow-up to Kurt, we're looking for a printer, and Kathy gave me the number of a printer, and it was around $100. We thought it was a little bit less, but the one that she was thinking of is now $100. So
Okay.
I think that's the amount that's in there, plus some toner.
And toner for it. So that was the request.
Okay. What do we do here?
Discussion and a motion.
Discussion and then a motion? Any discussion?
Well, it's just that I'm not in favor of this, as this is, to my understanding, our discretionary funds are, however they're awarded, are for community benefit, for good cause effort to help out, fill gaps with projects or personal projects that we think enhance quality of life and benefit our community. We're elected to this position, and we're trusted by the folks out here that have brought us to this diet. And I don't think that for personal use, the taxpayers ought to have to pay for it.
It's not for personal use.
Well, in 4 years, it's not going to be worth much, and I just don't see that. We have copiers here at the office. I'm down here all the time, and I have an office at home too, and I just am not in favor of it.
Could I ask the finance director a question? Is there a restriction on the use of these funds? I was unaware of that, if that's the case.
I believe that a purchase could be made out of an operating line item as well. So the discretionary fund, I think, is presented by Vice Mayor, I think has been past practice, but I believe that we also have the ability to buy office supplies, which if it's less than a $500 in value, it's not considered capital equipment. So I think that would be up to the discretion of council how they use those funds. It could be a maintenance and operational line item.
Do you want to change it to a maintenance line item, or?
Well, I don't know that wasn't an option that was given to me. I just had talked to the clerk, and I didn't know what regulations or what line items or budgets were available at the time, so didn't realize it would be an issue, and maybe I should have done a little more homework to find out if needed to do is it a budget transfer you're talking about then?
No, I don't have your budget, and well, actually, I do have your budget.
They have a supplies and materials.
Supplies and materials. I think in the past, when there have been requests to use things that has come from the discretionary funds, but I believe for this item that a supply material could be charged to this copier, or could be used for supplies and materials.
I think just as a further point of clarification, I mean, there's probably a lot of line items in the city council budget which this item could come up under, but the discretionary fund certainly is one of the options available. So the way that the council has operated the discretionary fund, I don't think there's a written policy, but individual council members do not have expenditure authority. So whenever there's been a expenditure out of the discretionary fund, it needs to come back to the city council for authorization. If the council were to approve this item tonight, then it certainly would be appropriate and lawful for them to do so. It just requires a motion and approval.
I have a question. Then, does it become the property of the city, and then do we have to keep a record of it in the
Certainly.
serial number and
Yeah.
all of that?
We do keep track of expenditures or equipment made, given to the city council members when they leave office. We do acquire that.
It'd be just like your computer, your laptop. Right.
I believe that that is something that is monitored as, like the clerk mentioned, but the finance department does not
No.
consider a copier that could be in value less than $100 a fixed asset, so it would not be in an official record. Clearly, once we paid the invoice, the accounts payable would be there, and it would be part of that permanent record, but something of this dollar value, we would not give it an identification tag through the finance department. It sounds like there's other internal controls that the clerk's office administers for the benefit of council and to ensure that the use is an appropriate use of city funds.
I didn't realize that it was a sensitive issue with you, Mike. I wish you would have, talked to me about it. My purpose isn't to take advantage of city funds. I work from home. If I'm going to do copying, if I were to copy either a portion of this agenda or others, I thought it was simply an appropriate expenditure. I didn't believe that it was one that was egregious, to the public.
Yeah.
So
I just thought as it's at your home, and I know we can take our laptops home, but what else? I just see it's a little different light than yours are. That was my opinion, and that's just the way I see it.
I don't have, I don't spend as much time as some council members do at City Hall. And I know that the copiers are made available here, and you can copy whatever you want.
Right.
And I just saw it as something as, it would be very inconvenient to come down and make copies down here. And that was my whole purpose. So.
That was my opinion. I still stand on that. I'm done.
I know.
Okay.
Does anyone else want to add anything? Would you have something to say, Steve?
Madam Mayor, after the council's done discussion, I would just recommend that you ask for a motion. Any council member can make the motion, and see if we have a second, and proceed to vote.
Okay. Do I have could you read what we need to make a motion on, please?
Approve discretionary funds not to exceed amount of $180 for a home printer and a set of ink cartridges, black and color.
Do I have a motion? I have no motion, no second. So what do we do now?
Move on.
Okay, I guess we move on then. Subject 3 is appropriation for banners. Mark Bruce.
The project that I started just a little bit over a year ago has blossomed considerably, and I have a large number of young men and women who are applying for the banners that are working in the military, and I'm just asking at this point to help us get through the fiscal year on it.
Okay, where's that money coming from?
General fund reserve.
General fund reserve? Okay,
That would be inappropriate.
okay, now, so do I have a motion on that from anyone for the additional monies for the banners for our men in the service?
So moved.
You know?
Second.
I would have a motion to amend,
Okay,
and that would be that I believe I have $2,000 in my, 2,000. 1,000.
In your discretionary.
I would recommend that, or motion that $500 of that be used here rather than general fund reserve. So it would amend the budget change report.
You'd reduce the general fund appropriation to
By $500.
Okay. Okay, so there's an amendment.
Is there a second on the
First,
amendment?
okay. Second on the amendment, so we'll call for the vote, please.
Did you second? Okay, on the amended motion, Vice Mayor Singleton.
Aye.
Councilmember Payne. Aye. Councilmember Campion.
Aye.
Councilmember Cruz.
Aye.
Mayor Powers.
Aye.
Sure.
Okay. Community Development Department, extension of the Consumers Community Services Fire Impact Fee Increase phase-in schedule by 6 months.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. My apologies. Our Community Development Director, Sandy Curie, is ill this evening, so I'm going to be taking this item for her. The item before you this evening is the extension of the Consumers Community Service District's Fire Impact Fee Increase phase-in schedule by 6 months. A little bit of background, the Council may recall, Council adopted the revised new Fire Impact Fee program on April 19th, 2011, subject to a phased-in 30-month schedule at the city's request, and CSD agreed with that. That was a significant increase in fire impact fees, and we had some comments from developers that was going to be a burden, and so the CSD agreed to allow for an extended implementation period, which was approved by the City Council. Earlier this summer, during our 2x2 meetings, which is 2 council members and 2 members of the CSD board met, and there was some discussion about trying to find additional ways to stimulate the economy and reduce the city fees, or at least to not increase the fees that were scheduled to go into effect. And so we discussed it, and CSD General Manager and Fire Chief agreed to recommend to their board that they delay some of those increases by 6 months. That was taken to the CSD Board of Directors on July 18th, 2012, is unanimously approved by the board at that time. And we are bringing this item to you now that would defer those fire impact fees that were scheduled to take effect on January 1. That increase would not take effect on January 1. It would instead take effect on July 1, 2013, and so the entire program will be pushed out an additional 6 months. Again, it's a symbolic, I think, gesture by the council and the CSD to recognize the difficult times that we're in. We're starting to see a little bit of movement and activity on the housing front, but this will give a little bit more time to get some permits in and get some activity going. It's hoped that this action before you tonight would result in positive fiscal impact to the city by encouraging developers to come in and pull their permits. At a minimum, the proposal is revenue neutral to the city because the revenues are actually not retained by the city. They are collected by the city and then transferred to the CSD for their programs, and those funds are used for equipment, apparatus, fire stations, and so forth to service new growth and development in the community. With that, the recommendation is that the City Council adopt a resolution approving the CEQA exemption, extending the Consumers Community Services District fire impact fee increase phase-in schedule by 6 months. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Well, first, I'd like to thank the CSD for working with us on this. Chief Hanson, she's out here, and thank you so much, you guys, part of the CSD board with us, the 2+2 board. I appreciate your efforts and your working with us the way you have. Thank you.
Anyone else have anything? Okay. Oh, okay. Come on up, Mike.
Mike Guthrie, General Park Company. Talking about these fees, I realize that most of you know that the city of Galt reduced the fees by $10,000, but on our part down there in Creekside, to go back to the school fees, it cost us $12, so we lost $2. And so we've already lost $2,000 of the $10,000, and so now we're going to increase these fees starting in July. As you know, we're starting rent a house, and we got a couple more it looks like we're going to go with, and so on and so forth. But the first thing I'd like to know is what is it going to cost us in July, and then where does it go from there? After July and December, does it increase again, and then so on and so forth? Or is this good for a year, and then what's the cost? Because remember, on the backside, when I get my property tax bill on those 38 nice lots I got sitting down there, each one of them cost me $2,000 a year. And part of that is CSD and fire and city police at about, I think, from $250 to $400 per house per lot.
The fee schedule, the current fee for fire impact fee is, on a single-family residential unit is $998. That, if the council approves this resolution this evening, that would increase on July 1, 2013 by $162, plus any increase to the engineering news index, which is a CPI index. And then the next increase would be January 1, 2014, and that would be another $162. And the final increase would be on July 1st, 2014, another $165.
And that's a total of, for the fee for me to get a fire from the CSD?
Let's see.
1,600 and something.
Let's see. I believe it's going to depend on what the ENR is, which is the engineering news record. That will vary by year, and so I can't tell you exactly what it's going to be, but it'll be about $1,500.
$1,500.
Yes.
And 5 years ago it was $200.
Yes. And as you recall, when this was brought back in 2011, the CSD had done a study both for the city, for City of Elk Grove, City of Galt, City of Elk Grove, as well as the county. The fees had not been increased in a number of years, and so they're really playing a bit of catch-up for the years that hadn't been increased.
I realize that, but let's look what happened to the construction industry and what the cost of the house is. That house that I'm building out there that I'm going to try to sell for $265,000, 5 years ago would have sold for about $450,500. So now, you know, we're saying somebody's getting their part is going up and my part's going down. So if you want building in your town, you're going to have to do something about your fees.
That's why we decreased the fees by $10,000 last year on a temporary basis for 18 months to encourage that. We obviously don't have any control over the school district fees. We have control over the fees within our jurisdiction, and those fees were decreased by $10,000. So that's what we've done as far as, or the city council has done, to recognize the impact on the stagnating housing market and try to stimulate housing growth in the community.
Because as far as I know right today, the only permit you've is our permit.
It's only single family.
Only single family permit. Is that correct?
That's true.
And has other developers come forward and saying they're going to start building houses here shortly?
We have had a lot of discussion with developers recently. I can't tell you
Well, I
what
understand that.
but yes, definitely there's been an increase in interest in development. I think not just in Galt, but in the entire...
Well, I understand the development part.
Sure.
But what I'm concerned about is the house part. And I think that's still out there. So I think we ought to be seriously thinking about, you know, it's nice to talk about 100 here and 100 here, but what I'm saying is on the backside, I'm paying another $200 or $300.
I was going to say, the only thing on the agenda tonight is actually to defer the fee increase. We're not increasing fees tonight. We're actually doing something to lessen the fee impact on developers. The action that was taken to increase the fees was actually taken back in 2011, so that's not what's on the agenda tonight.
I understand that. I just wanted to put my comment in because, as I say, each time around we've got another increase, and here we were trying to get home developing going, and we've got the situation here where we're talking another $1,500 at some point in time.
Mike, do you know offhand what the total cost for your fees were for that permit? For the 200
for the house we're building down there?
Yes.
Well, about $45,000.
That included your school fees?
Yes, around $48,000.
Okay.
30 plus 12 plus and that's again Kurt, that's on an 1,800 square foot house. I don't know what we're gonna do when we get to the 3,000 square foot house. You follow me?
Correct, yes. Some of them are based on square footage. Well, I have to agree with Mike. I think we really need to evaluate what our fees are. I know this isn't the forum to do it tonight. Maybe we can talk about this in a team building or something like that. But I really think it's something we need to look at in order to stimulate business and new development. Anyway, that's all.
And maybe in 6 months again, meet with CSD and,
We meet
I mean, if
with CSD
nothing's
every
getting
other-
built.
We meet with CSD every other month.
No, I understand that, but I said in 6 months regarding this issue. You know, if nothing's being built, we can readdress that again.
Yeah.
Nothing times nothing is nothing. You know, so.
And the council approved the 18-month fee deferral back. I don't think it's been a year yet, but once we get closer to the end of that, then we can bring that back and see if the council wants to consider extending that an additional period of time. And so there's other things that we can do to take a look at that.
Okay. Because we do want to encourage building here, as Kurt said.
Well, that was a significant reduction. I mean, that was a 35% reduction in your fees in one motion on that. So that, you know,
And as you
council
said,
took pretty significant action on
we
that.
have no control over the school, right, fees, so.
Okay. Anyone else?
Motion for approval?
Second.
Okay, call for the vote, please.
Vice Mayor Singleton?
Aye.
Councilmember Payne? Aye. Councilmember Campion?
Aye.
Councilmember Cruz?
Aye.
Mayor Powers?
Aye. Okay, you want to read 5, please, Liz?
Next item, discontinuation of residential photovoltaic solar system fee waiver program and establishment of flat building permit fees for residential and commercial rooftop solar photovoltaic, that's not right either, project. Voltaic.
That's why I had you read it.
I'm
Ahead of time.
pleased to introduce our senior building inspector, John James, who's going to be giving this report to the city council this evening.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Out 6. Is this thing working at all?
Try a different one.
What
It's got to be on record.
We could hear you, but they.
Is this better? Yeah? Okay, so I'm here on behalf of Sandy. She's out sick, and before you, I have 2 items, and the word fee is going to pop up, so hopefully Mike will be all right. But this one is hopefully addressing some issues that we have that will make it better in regards to photovoltaic, or what we commonly refer to just as solar. So currently right now what we have is we have a SMUD program where the city has been waiving fees for any residential rooftop photovoltaic or solar system. And it's been going on for 3 years. We've had 30 months of waived fees with the support of council and SMUD, and a total of 36 building permits altogether. And it's set to expire the 31st of this month. And we're making recommendations to let it expire, but then also let us alter the fee schedule to reflect the actual cost of providing the service and to become in line with a Senate bill that was recently passed. So those are the 2 items that we have before you. And all the numbers are there for you guys to see, but basically what you end up for if you're a standard residential facility like we typically see, it's about $195 permit. That includes plan check, all the admin, and inspections. So that's a very fair rate in my opinion, and it's very comparable to even people out towards the Bay Area, where I think Napa was about 400. So that is just the cost of our time, and that should cover everything for what the intent of this request is.
Good job.
Thank you.
Very good, John.
Is there any questions or discussions for No questions. Okay, do I have a motion?
Motion to accept?
Second. Call for the vote.
Vice Mayor Singleton.
Aye.
Councilmember Payne.
Aye.
Councilmember Campion.
Aye.
Councilmember Cruz.
Aye.
Mayor Powers.
Aye. Okay, now we're into the Finance Department. Number 6, please, Liz.
City of Galt financial statement for the fiscal year ended June 30, 2012, and independent accountant's report on compliance with Proposition 111, 2011 through 2012 appropriations limit increment.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, and community members. This evening, as presented by the city clerk, it is staff's recommendation that council take 2 actions. The first is to accept the financial statements for the fiscal year ended June 30, 2012, along with the independent accountant's report on compliance of Prop 111, and secondly, to appropriate funds in the amount of $135,000 for the city phone system replacement. By way of background, each year the city prepares and makes available as a matter of public record the financial report, which encompasses all of the funds of the city, and it's our way of communicating the financial condition, the position of the city. In previous years, I do want to bring this to your attention, staff did prepare a comprehensive financial report, and we've been doing this for several years, which incorporates the introductory section, the financial section, and statistical. This year, due to the additional reporting requirements based on the dissolution of redevelopment agencies, staff focused on the financial section, which includes the independent auditor's report, the basic financial statements, notes to the financial statements, the required supplementary information, and combining and individual fund statements and schedules. This year, we continue to be audited by the firm of Mays & Associates, and Amy Meyer has actually joined us at the podium. And I am pleased to report that as we presented the financial statements, it is their responsibility to go through the financials and see if our reports are free of material items, misstatements, and in reviewing the independent auditor's report, they concluded that they rendered an unqualified opinion, so I'm very happy about that. The financial statements actually report activities of the City of Galt and some of the blended component units, which basically, if we take responsibility for them, they have to be included within our financials. And those include the redevelopment agency, and I do want to present on the redevelopment agency. Again, due to the dissolution, the redevelopment agency is included in our financial statements through January 31st, 2012. As of February 1st, they have been moved over, other than the housing fund, they have been moved over into our financial statements under a fiduciary fund, and that starts on page 83 of the financial statement. So they are no longer part of the city's funds, they are part of the fiduciary group. So they are reported in here, we do have to still report them, but they're no longer part of the special revenue funds. Only the low moderate income housing fund, the successor agency, is now part of our special revenue fund and continue to be reported in our financial statements. We also have the Public Financing Authority of the City of Galt and the Galt Capital Improvements Authority. I am pleased to report also that in October we presented pre-audit information, and at that time we said that the general fund ending fund balance had an increase of $154,000 actual or estimated actual ending fund balance as compared to the budget, and I am pleased to report that there is an actual increase of $13,000 more. So general fund balance is actually $167,000 more than the budget when council adopted it, and it's based on that staff's recommending that a portion of those additional funds be used to fund the citywide phone system. With regard to the Culture and Recreation Fund, basically revenues and expenditures were as presented in the October report. The difference was that basically in order to balance the fund, the general fund was used to balance it out. So there really were no significant adjustments in the Culture and Recreation Fund. And I can certainly go through on a fund-by-fund basis. I am joined this evening by Michelle Neely, Donna Krug, and Matt Boring, who all have a certain area of the city's funds and account groups that if council has any questions this evening between the 4 of us, and also by Amy Meyer, partner with Mays & Associates, that we can address some of those questions. Additionally, I do want to comment on the independent accountant's report on compliance with Prop 111. Basically, we had no comments on that report either. two items that you have typically seen at the same time as the financial statements. One of them is the memorandum on internal control. That report was just received by the city. We have not had sufficient time to review and comment on it. There was a pending item from last year based on purchases, so we will be presenting that to council, and we anticipate that that will be presented at the same time the single audit is presented, and that will be before the end of March 2013. The single audit has to be presented before that time in order for us to be in compliance with federal guidelines. So those two reports are not presented this evening, and we expect that those will be presented in March of 2013. There are no costs associated with actually accepting the financial statements as presented this evening. However, we are recommending that a supplemental appropriation in the amount of $135,000 be approved, and that would come from the additional funds of $167,000 that we received in the audit as a result of the audit as compared to the original budget when presented. The numbers will actually be incorporated within our budgetary documents and update those items. So with that, unless council has some specific questions on the actual basic financial statements, that concludes my report, and I would ask for any questions or acceptance as within our recommendation.
Are there any questions?
No questions. It was a very thorough report. I did have just one minor question on the interfund transactions, transfer among funds. You have a number for each one of the transactions. Is there an identifiable document that if someone made a public request, would it be an identifiable document, or is this just a bunch of numbers that have been put together?
We actually transfers into, like, let's just say general fund, and all the amounts that are transferred in are included within the revenues. If there's a revenue report, we issue that monthly, so that could be included, or it is included within the revenue report, and it says transfer in from fund something. And then on the transfers out of the general fund, or any other fund for that matter, they show up on the expenditure report. So they are totally a public document. They are available every month. We actually provide that to the clerk's office, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, on a monthly basis. We put it on internal drive and provide that as a matter of public record. I know that when we're going through closings, we typically do not release the reports yet because sometimes we might have a customer who relies on that, and then there are adjustments. So the June report typically is not released until we actually do the audit. But once the document is released, it is a matter of public record.
And does it identify the purpose for which the transfer was made?
No. In the revenue and or expenditure report, it will identify the transfer to a specific fund, but it does not say if it's for support services and or for bonded debt payment. It does not identify that. We cover that during the budget process, but the actual revenue and or expenditure document really just present the amount. Just like if there's salaries, it will just say part-time salaries, not the number and so forth.
Okay. Thank you. That's all.
Any other questions?
More of a comment.
Oh, okay.
Just more of a congratulations and a thank you to both staff, department heads, and admin. You guys working as a team put the city in the black, and it's saying a lot this time, especially this time in the world.
I just wondered on this intergovernmental streets fund, intergovernmental street special revenue fund accounts for receipts from various intergovernmental sources received for street-related projects within the city. I know that in some areas of Galt, our L&L funds are getting low. Is any money from this be used on the landscape and lighting in those areas?
Intergovernmental Streets Fund, that's actually Fund 10, and that is actually money, typically grants or allocations that come from federal and or state, and it's basically on a reimbursement basis. So unless it's a qualified project, then I don't believe it would be eligible for reimbursement. We have our gas tax funds, Fund 2, Fund 3, gas tax funds, which is in the gas tax transportation grouping as well. And I believe those funds currently are used for street purposes, and it doesn't really differentiate between if it's a street project within the L&Ls, whether it's the west side or northeast. So I think those are used citywide. But the actual intergovernmental streets, I believe, is restricted for specific projects, and when those projects come before council, we can actually see if those cover the different L&Ls, but those are project related, and the revenues are specific to the projects that were submitted.
All right, thanks.
Any other questions? Liz, would you read what the recommended action is, please?
Accept the City of Galt basic financial report for fiscal year ended June 30, 2012, and independent accountant's report on compliance with Proposition 111, 2011, 2012 appropriations limit increment, and appropriate funds in the amount of $135,000 for citywide phone system replacement.
We approving these all at once, or we do them separately? All at once.
Move to accept.
Second.
Call for the vote, please.
Vice Mayor Singleton.
Aye.
Councilmember Payne.
Aye.
Councilmember Campion.
Aye.
Councilmember Cruz.
Aye.
Mayor Powers.
Aye. Thank you very much. Thank you.
If I could just acknowledge the work effort of staff. I know that Michelle, Donna, and Matt, and the county firm Mays, they've been working in addition to the redevelopment agency, so I really appreciate all of your work efforts, so thank you so much.
And we put it at the end of the agenda just to make you sit here all day.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate all your work.
Human Resources Department, number 7.
Request to waive the Public Employee Pension Reform Act 180-day waiting period to hire retired annuitants to perform accounting manager duties.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Before you tonight is a request to, it's still not working, okay.
It's not working very well.
To be better, right?
Yep.
Okay, so the request before you is to waive the 180-day waiting period to hire retired annuitant Donna Krug, who is going to be retiring next week, as we all know, and we're happy for her, but sad for us. And the request is to bring her back after January 1st in the accounting manager position. Now, the public employment retirement law has always had restrictions on hiring retired annuitants. They can only work so many hours in a fiscal year. It needs to be on a limited basis for specific assignments, so on and so forth. The difference since the PEPRA, the Public Employee Pension Reform Act that recently was put into place, now requires retired annuitants to sit out and not be able to work at the same public agency after 180 days. And fortunately, there is an exception to waive this if there is a critical need in the city. And as recommended by the Finance Department and listed in the staff report, there are a number of critical duties that need to be done during this first 180 days, and we're requesting that council make the exception and waive that 180-day waiting period. So I can answer any questions if you need any additional information.
Any additional information needs?
You thought you were getting away, didn't you?
So we don't want you to go.
It's too important.
You know, she lobbied really hard for that 180-day waiting period.
Should have held it over her head.
Okay, would you read the recommendation, please?
Adopt a resolution waiving the Public Employee Pension Reform Act 180-day waiting period to hire retired annuitant Donna Krug to perform critical accounting manager duties on a limited basis in 2013.
So moved. Second.
Call for the vote, please.
Vice Mayor Singleton.
Aye.
Councilmember Payne.
Aye.
Councilmember Campion.
Aye.
Councilmember Cruz.
Aye.
Mayor Powers.
Aye. Do we have anything under communication? No, we don't, do we? Well, welcome back. Welcome. Goodbye and welcome back.
Hello.
Can you get another retirement party?
Yeah, we'll do another one, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, that'll work, huh? Another party. We have no communication, so we're going to adjourn and reconvene to the Galt successor agency. Can I do this? Or no? You can. Okay. Call for the roll, please.
Board members Singleton.
Are you here?
I'm here.
Payne.
Sorry.
Campion.
Here.
Cruz.
Here.
Powers.
Here. Do we have any public comment?
I have no speaker sheet.
Okay. No information consent calendar. So we're into departmental.
I ask for approval of the minutes for the meeting of December 4th,
Move to
2012.
accept. Second.
Call for the vote, please.
Board members Singleton.
Aye.
Haynes?
Aye.
Campion?
Aye.
Cruz?
Aye.
Howard?
Aye. Okay, so now we're going to adjourn and reconvene to the Galt City Council. We've already taken care of committee and commission appointments. So we're to comments by staff. Any comments by any staff?
A reminder that we are going to be closed the week between Christmas and New Year's, so if you have city business to do, get it done in the next couple of days for city furloughs. And I'd like maybe to have our Public Works Director give us an update on our traffic signals over at the interchange project.
He thought he was going to get away with it.
I'll need that direction from the chair. No. Well, let me first try to diffuse that issue with a couple other quick reports. Maybe go with the good news first. We did today, 2 weeks ago, you authorized some expedited actions to try to accelerate demolition of some of the city-owned properties in Old Town to make room for some of the hopeful redevelopment bond funding uses in the area of the theater complex. And we opened bids today, and the bids were very favorable, to the tune of around $60,000, and we were braced. Our engineer's estimate was closer to $140,000, depending on the amount of hazardous material abatement that would be necessary. Those were very aggressive bids. There was a second low bidder that was about $11,000 higher than that, and then there were bids that were well in excess of our engineer's estimate. So we're going to move forward quickly before they get cold feet and try to get that awarded, and work could start as soon as Friday or Saturday of this week if we can get all the paperwork signed and approved by insurance certificates and the like. So the hope is that I hope they will take at least Christmas Day off, but they're going to try to work through next week and get that done before New Year's. Also pleased to report that, well, we already had a report into the strategic plan that we're starting to see signs of real life that Walmart is coming to town. In addition to Santa Claus. So if we can get the plans into community development for the actual building as opposed to just site improvements, then I think we can be even more encouraged, but those are promised. So now moving to less sterling issues on my performance here. We are continuing just to continue to report because we have had a number of calls with concerns or complaints as to sort of muddy water complaints. We are doing annual winter flushing of our water system. We try to do it during periods of low demand. It is intentionally stirring up any sediments or particulates that accumulate over time in water systems. It's actually a state requirement that we do this at least once a year. And so occasionally we'll get calls, hey, my water's muddy. Well, it's not mud, it's sterile sediment that's inside a chlorinated water system, but the only way we can get it out of there is to stir it up and flush it out of the hydrants. Occasionally there'll be some residual turbidity, we call it, or cloudy water. It is safe to drink. If you have that occur or you see us flushing a hydrant in your neighborhood, we'd encourage the public to turn on your outside faucet where it comes into the house from your water service and let that run for 5 to 10 minutes. If you get cloudy water in your house, go to the far back fixture or maybe the back faucet and just flush it on through, and it should clear up within minutes. Had a couple areas where the cloudy water persisted for 5 or 10 minutes, but be patient, and it is a necessary evil to keep your water system in compliance with state requirements. And lastly, while progress continues to be made on the Galt interchange, it is no secret that we have yet to energize the signals. I got to confess here.
2 weeks.
Now, I believe 2 weeks ago I suggested that we were hopeful that we'd have an early Christmas present and that at least 2 more weeks would be required, and here we are 2 weeks later. The good news, the signal controllers have arrived and have been installed, and they are currently undergoing extensive testing. There are 4 different controllers that all have to talk to each other so that all the phasing works, and we actually will be able to have one system turn green in time to let the traffic proceed on through. And we are having a pivotal meeting tomorrow with Caltrans and the contractor and the specialty inspectors to try to see when that magical date will be for turning those on. There is still a glimmer of hope that the Public Works Grinch will not steal Christmas. So we'll know more tomorrow.
Okay, and
Can I say something?
yes, you can.
Also, I wanted to say I've had several compliments on our street sweeper with all the leaves and everything, that he's been out there working really hard and doing a great job. So maybe you could pass that on to him.
He's been wearing out the street sweeper and
I know.
with good cause. We'll pass that on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. One other thing, and I'd be remiss in being deep water with one of the members out there. How are we doing on Union Pacific and the roundtable?
It has not been found as yet. We are looking to make contact with a representative from the former lumberyard. That there's some anecdotal information that perhaps the railroad the lumberyard actually physically removed majority of the components. We're trying to confirm that information and see if we can get some actual records as to what may or may not have been removed and when. But we do still have an item of work as part of our environmental assessment that unless we find evidence that it has been removed physically, that we're going to continue to see if there is any evidence that there might be something there. Maybe now would be an appropriate time to get the Grinch back up. We did have a conference call with Union Pacific as to possible terms of lease for the UP Park, SP Park formerly, and that was not a productive meeting in the sense that they are now talking about significant annual lease costs, where before we thought we were talking about nominal sums for potential parking lot expansion and some green belt areas there, and they're now talking tens of thousands of dollars a year. So we're going to be working with city manager's office to and possibly with our elected officials to see if we can bring some sanity to that process, but that does not bode well for any type of improvements on the SP property, round table or otherwise.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you. We'll go to comments by City Council, and I'll start with the lady on my left. Ladies first. Barbara?
This past week, I attended the First Five Advisory Committee, which, as a matter of fact, was part of how we acquired our grant. That was a section of it. I did have these made up so that the rest of the council would know what the First Five is about. Kind of, I think that was too. Nope, that's it. And then also I attended SACOG, and they are at the point now where they elected a new director, or not director, a new chairman, and so it's at this time it would be a good time for me to swap positions with Councilmember Cruz, who has offered to take over my primary spot, and he's the alternate, and he has been attending a few meetings in my absence, and I'm perfectly willing to let him make that drive to Sacramento by 9 o'clock in the morning. And so I'd like to ask the council to agendize that for the next meeting for us to swap positions and let him take off to Sacramento. Is that what you want to say?
Yeah, it does need to be agendized. My suggestion would be, since we have a couple of these items with alternates and council appointments, is we'll bring those items back and we'll just have a list of all the city council appointments on various commissions, committees, boards, and so forth. That way, if the council wants to make any other changes, it'll all be on there, and you can make those changes at that time at the next meeting.
And we are being reminded we're not having a meeting in January. It will be February,
True.
correct?
Well, there's a meeting. It'll be the second meeting in January, so it'll be January 15th, I believe.
And other than that, I would like to conclude with wishing everybody a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year. And I'm headed for Colorado tomorrow to see my new granddaughter. Yay!
Hey.
Now, Vice Mayor Singleton.
I just want to say, you guys have a great holiday, great Christmas, great New Year's. I do want to agendize also, bring back a planning commission, an alternate for the planning commission for this next meeting, so we can have a discussion on that.
An item agendized that would for the council to consider adding an alternate to the planning commission?
Absolutely.
Councilmember Campion.
Nothing. have a great holiday and New Year.
Councilmember Cruz.
Well, I guess you're already putting it on there, but I'll make it official. Also agendize the alternate for cast for the next agenda in January. And Merry Christmas to everyone. Have a happy and hopefully healthy holiday season.
Yes.
Don't go away, I got some information for you.
And with that, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, too, and we'll see you all back here on January 15th. Adjourned.
Man, all that work and...
I know.
What, 5 minutes? I know they're thinking about all that.
Nice to see you guys.
Oh, yeah. I know we were in,
It happens. It happens.
Oh my God. Yeah. What? I feel better.
Get the word out to his officer. Yeah.
I'm going to turn.
Yeah, give you a chance.
You know,